So I find it really interesting to see some of the feedback on some of my videos. Sometimes it's just entirely positive feedback. People like my videos, and that's good. I appreciate you guys telling me, but I also appreciate it if you guys tell me if I'm doing anything wrong, if one of my arguments are flawed, etc. And sometimes, on the rare occasion, I get the nice surprise of someone putting forth another argument for me to discuss something. Sometimes it's completely unrelated to my video, and that's why sometimes I don't have the time to answer it. But at the same time, I do look at these comments, and I often get inspired by them, and this is one of those times. So the topic of this video is happiness and what it means to me as an atheist compared to happiness and what it means to religious followers of any particular faith. I'm going to use Christianity as the example here because, well, that's the one off the top of my head and the one that generally, the side that I generally hear this from. It's quite interesting to me that many religious people believe that because I'm an atheist, they form all these very interesting preconceptions of me, like, oh, I must be bitter and cold and angry and depressed and angsty and rebellious. And I'll be honest, I don't think that I'm any one of those things. Well, you guys tell me. I mean, have I ever seemed really bitter or cold? I guess you can try and argue the rebellious point because I'm 18. But have I ever seemed like any of these things to you guys? Of course, there's no need for me to address this because I feel that this is essentially just an argument based on prejudice. It is very much an overgeneralization. It is an argument based on ignorance. It is an argument that is unfounded by any sort of empirical evidence whatsoever, and I definitely feel no shame whatsoever in saying that I have nothing to say when someone tries to say something like, you atheists are all cold, miserable, and depressed people. I mean, why should I bother trying to reason with that? It is very obvious that this is the type of person who does not want to be reasoned with. And if you guys are going to accuse me of just being closed-minded, well, no, I just have fairly high standards of what I accept as a fact. And if you guys really want to discuss these things with me, well, then I talk facts and figures. I talk empirical data. I talk observable, testable reality. And if you have any one of these things, then we can talk. But until then, the most you'll get out of me is, bitch, please. So right off the bat, this sort of statement really should not be a subject for discussion. But I feel that I will make an exception for this case because of just the magnitude of how grossly it misrepresents what we atheists truly feel. Of course, what I'm going to say does not apply to everyone. There are happy atheists out there, there are miserable atheists out there, in the same way that there are happy Christians out there and there are miserable Christians. There are happy Muslims and miserable Muslims, etc., etc., etc. I've never really seen the appeal for all the happiness that Christians seem to have when they believe in their God. What is there to like about that? Other than the fact that you feel warm and fuzzy inside, what is it based on? You don't have any sort of solid foundation to base it on. You don't have any foundation in fact or in reality. So I don't see the appeal in that whatsoever. The happiness I feel as an atheist is because of the fact that I know that I can consider things in a more objective light. The things that I view about the world might not be the same things as the way other people view the world. And that's what I like about it. That's what I like. That's what makes me happy. Besides, even if atheists were more miserable than, let's say, Christians, that doesn't really say anything at all. It's similar to saying, well, drunk people are happier than sober people. Maybe we should all get drunk all the time. This is the same sort of argument, the same sort of reasoning. I don't see any more reason to be a Christian than I should for getting wasted off my ass. At least I know that getting wasted off my ass is guaranteed to make me feel better. What is religion, really? It is based on faith. What is faith? Well, it's just blind worship. No questions asked. You cannot question your faith. Otherwise, that's a sin. So, okay, you're happy if you're not asking questions. But are you going to get anywhere? Well, no. When has anyone gotten anywhere by just sitting there and hoping that things will be done and answered for them? So, in other words, I would rather be slightly more miserable and at least academically honest, or at least keeping with my integrity, rather than just being slightly more happy following what everyone else is doing and not questioning my surroundings. Anyways, thanks for watching, and may the truth always be heard.